I want to talk about mental health and our Christian faith and how those intersect with each other. And I've talked about this in the past episode vlogs, but this came kind of head on in a recent blog post that I was working with someone about. My friend Tim Baker posted this article from a guy named Carlos Whitaker, a Christian speaker, vlogger, has a lot of great things to say specifically about faith in general. But the article he had posted was about how Carlos is going through a lot of mental health, and to recognize that sometimes we take medication, we do other things for ourselves to help deal with some of the mental health stuff that's going on. And in the conversation we were having about this Facebook post when I was talking with Tim, I kind of went on a quick rant about things that I think that the church, Tim actually asked this question, what should pastors know? What should the church be doing about mental health? And I kind of went on a rant of things that I would love to see in the church because of mental health. Before I jump into what it is that churches can do, what church leadership can be proactive about with this process, I wanted to address a couple of things. First of all, I wanted to normalize what it means as far as with mental health. I wanted to build awareness with it, and I realized that there's a whole population that's going on with this. So first of all, with awareness, what is depression? Like when someone says that they are clinically depressed, what does that mean? A lot of people would say depression is just sadness. Well, stop feeling so sad. Okay, I understand that your family member died a month or two ago, but you can get over it. And in fact, it's actually depression that they're suffering from, probably cued on by the loss of someone, but it's actual clinical depression, or something like generalized anxiety disorder, where it's stress. It's a lot of stress. It's so much stress, in fact, that it's impacting life, relationships, work, all these other things. It isn't just a lot of stress. I go through a lot of stress. I don't have an anxiety disorder. Then there's also the stigmas that are happening with this. I want to normalize what it means. So when you have depression, you should just get over it, like I said. Or if you have a substance abuse problem, you're sinning, you need to stop sinning. And with something like psychosis or mania, we have this understanding that maybe that's just a possession and they're not living a right life and they're really dealing with Satan or something else is going on, which, yes, there is demon possession, but there's also this mental health thing that's going on as well. And a lot of time in my experience, it's been working with actual mental health problems. The last one, there's a whole population of what's going on. And if I were to ask you in your community, where is the biggest population of mental health and substance abuse problems? Would you be able to know where that is? Scripture talks about, Jesus talks about that we need to go help the widows and the orphans. And then it expands upon helping those that are in need, those that are in poverty, those that are needing help, that need the basics of life, and that need to be filled up, that are starving, both physically starving, but also spiritually starving. And for us in America, the biggest population of that is the widows, the orphans that have mental health problems. And so for me, how much are we actually devoting to that population as far as with mental health? Do you know what it means as far as having resources for them? Do you know there's a ton of resources available to that population? And the church doesn't even have to don't have to tithe a single thing, don't have to create a budget line item, and they can make a huge impact in their community. So now that we know some of the stuff that I wanted to kind of give you a background on, what is it that churches can do? What is it that church leadership can do? I'll actually link either to the original Facebook post where we have this conversation, or I'll just get the response that I have, put it on a blog post with this YouTube channel, and even link from the YouTube video to the article itself, if however we need to figure it out. So just look in the description of everything. I'm going to highlight 3 of them specifically. The first one is talk about it from the pulpit. What is mental health? What is the church's stance on mental health? What does scripture align with mental health? I'd really love to kind of see what you guys have to say on this. I can give some resources if need be. Don't hesitate to comment. I would love to help out. So what are some specific questions you have about some of this? But what is it that your church can do? Preach about it. Preach about mental health. You probably have some kind of situation. If 1 in 3 Americans has a mental health problem, then that means that you or someone you love struggles with something in mental health, which means you can help just by telling some stories that are appropriate to share. Second thing on this is simply understand who are some of the professionals that are in your area that you could refer to. Obviously, if it's stress, depression, something like that, you can come alongside them, you can have support network. But what happens if they're suicidal? What happens if they're struggling with heroin dependence? Can you treat that? Probably not. You can have some resources. Celebrate Recovery is a great resource for a lot of substance use problems as well as other addictions. But actually treating the person, probably not appropriate unless you have some kind of licensure and some kind of degree. In fact, many states, I would highly caution you to look at what's going on, because a lot of states actually require you have this kind of certification. You can get in a lot of legal trouble if you don't do that. And then the final one, and this is actually probably the hardest of all of them, go get some counseling yourself. I don't have a problem as far as mental health. I'm not depressed. I don't have anxiety. Okay, go do some counseling. See what it's like. Experience the whole process. And if it's not for you personally, maybe you go as a parent, or maybe you go as a couple and just go and get a little extra counseling. Not for the sake of our life is in shattered ruins and we need someone to come help pick up the pieces, because a lot of times that's almost too late. And instead, let's come back from that and let's start to be proactive in this process. And you being proactive from where you're at as a church leadership, as an elder, as someone that understands what mental health is, this is your opportunity to further that cause. So go get some mental health treatments, see what it's like, and then you have a testimony to give to someone else and say, no, it's not like that at all. The stigma is not correct. Let me tell you about my own experience. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about all of this. And if you've been enjoying these video clips in between all of this, we actually got to go visit the carousel. Had a lot of fun just riding it. It's always interesting when we do this. This was my daughter's first time with me being able to be there to see her ride the carousel. My 2 oldest are like, let's do this, and something about the noise. They did not like it. But anyways, I'll let you end with us roasting some marshmallows. I like them not burnt. My family is a little bit different. Enjoy.